Have you heard of the ideal team player? And actually, does one even exist? In this Whiteboard Wednesday video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I see the ideal team player with the help of Patrick Lencioni, who wrote the book on the topic, and how it matters to you and your agency. Hi, I'm Sam Ashdown from the AJ Mastermind here in beautiful Windermere in the Lake District. And today I want to share with you this Patrick Lencioni model of the ideal team player together with my thoughts. And what he suggests is that the ideal team player, so this is somebody you're looking for during recruitment and also training and looking at your team as a whole, is are they humble, are they smart, and are they hungry? So hungry, humble and smart make up his trio of the ideal team player. And what his theory is, if you get it in the wrong order or the wrong proportion, or you only have two or even worse, one of those attributes, you can end up with somebody who actually is not an ideal team player. It's actually the opposite of an ideal team player. So humble means not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that's a big distinction. So I'm not going to say, oh, I'm terrible at such and such. I'm going to think about other people more than I think about myself. And I'm going to recognise that I'm coachable and that I need to learn every day. And I've definitely not got it nailed in any of the things I'm doing. I'm always looking for opportunities to learn and to improve myself and recognise that I'm definitely not a finished product in anything that I do. That's what humble means. Hungry, I'm determined, motivated, I'm driven, I am determined to take my team along with me to the success that we're aiming for. So I'm goal driven, future driven, and I'm going to make sure that I do anything that I can to get there. So I have a no matter what policy. And my team sometimes hear me say, right, gun to your head, you have to do this. What's your next step? So not can I do it, but how can I do it? And then smart is actually, well, Patrick Lencioni talks about people smart, not just smart, because we all know people who've got bags of intelligence and zero common sense. And we also know people who are a little bit socially awkward or don't really understand when they have maybe hurt somebody's feelings or just said the wrong thing in a social or professional context. So that's what smart is. It's about emotional smart. It's about making sure that you can deal with the right situation in the right way. And you know what to say to that person, or actually when to say nothing at all. The combination between those three things, and you're never going to get them exactly 33%, but if you did, you would have somebody that Patrick Lencioni posits is actually the ideal team player. Now what happens when you only have two of these things start going wrong. So if they're humble, thinking about themselves less than others, and they're hungry, just looking at my crib sheet here because I haven't written it down, what you get is an accidental mess maker. So thinking about themselves as they need coaching and they take responsibility for their own learning, but at the same time massively hungry, that actually turns out to be an accidental mess maker because they're going to be leaving a mess wherever they try and do what they're trying to do. Which means that really you never get to their true potential because they're too busy, stuck in these two areas and not actually progressing at all. The next one is, and actually it's called here, an accidental mess maker because that's what they're going to do. They're going to leave a mess behind them. These two people here, which is the bulldozer versus the charmer, is a skillful politician. And this is where we come back to President Trump, who I mentioned on one of the other Whiteboard Wednesday videos. Because a skillful politician is very smart, so he understands people, even though he didn't demonstrate that very well, and very hungry. But there's no humility about him. So he doesn't know what he doesn't know. In fact, he just thinks he knows everything. So therefore, he's going to cause this mess here, which is the skillful politician mess, where nobody actually trusts him. Because there's no transparency, there's no honesty, there's no authenticity. There's nothing genuine about him. And then if you come to this section here, between the doormat and the charmer, you get the lovable slacker, where they're actually pretty smart, they understand people, and they're humble, but there's no hunger about them, so they don't actually progress, they don't do anything, they're not productive, they don't push the company along. So what you need is a bit of all three of those. You need somebody who understands that they need coaching and understands that the rest of the team are part of their own success. You need somebody who's hungry and motivated and driven and determined so that you've got somebody who has success as one of the things that they're pushing towards. And you need somebody who's smart while they're doing it to make sure they don't trample people or upset people along the way, so you don't end up with no team because they've annoyed everybody. So hungry, humble and smart is what we look for when we're recruiting. And actually on our recruitment forms and our candidate forms, we actually have a little star rating where we make a note of anybody who isn't 5 out of 5 of those 3 things, and very rarely is anybody 5 out of 5, but actually which are the bits that are the sliders, which are the bits that we can control. Because if somebody isn't hungry, it's very difficult to instill that. If they don't want the success that you want for the company, how are you going to put that into them? How can you find that little kernel of motivation to help push them along? If they're not humble, again, that's really difficult. Can you knock it out of them with training? Can you help them with their own self-development? Or do you put, which Patrick Lencioni mentions in his book actually, put them in a situation where they fail to show them that failure is actually okay, to give them a safe place. So a humble one is a tricky one to deal with as well. Smart, I think it's a bit of a lost cause, to be honest. I think it's very difficult to teach people how to be people smarts if they don't get it. To teach people how to react to different situations with different people is very, very difficult to train because it's so fluid and it's all encompassing, isn't it? So it's hard to find somebody who's all these 3 things, and I honestly don't think that one's more important than the other. I think it's something that you're going to have to just look at your team and see whether you've got it now or whether it's something that you can train and create in time, or whether actually that person just isn't right for your business, which is a hard decision to make, I know. Okay, share this with your team though, see what they think. You can find this online or you can find it on the Ideal Team Player. That's what it looks like here with the extra bits of information in. So if you Google Ideal Team Player, Hungry, Humble and Smart, you'll be able to find the diagram I've just shown you. Share it with your team, see what they think, see how they would score themselves and see how you would score them and see if there's a difference between the 2. Now this is one of the things that we do at our in-person events here in Ashdown-Jones in Windermere. And we invite you to apply to come along on one of these events. We don't allow any competing agents in the room, so it's a safe place from which to be able to explore these and other challenges that you've got in your agency. If you go to ajmastermind.co.uk/events, you'll see exactly how to book onto the next event, what it is, and whether we can accept you or whether one of your competitors has beaten you to it. So look forward to hopefully seeing you at AJ in Windermere at some point in the future. And whatever you're doing in your agency today, have a good day, have fun and enjoy it. Bye for now.